Hi everyone, Tutu Mora here with the Y, bringing you tools to feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. Today we are going to be doing a gentle self-massage to release some of the tension that we can hold in our shoulders, neck, and jaw, which is a really big space that people hold stress and can be exacerbated when we're sitting a lot. When our head starts to move forward, it puts a lot of strain on our neck and on our shoulders. So we are gonna start here with a gentle pec release. So we're gonna be releasing the muscle that sits kind of across the chest here, which when it's tight, it can start to pull your shoulders rounded forward, which again, creates tension through the back of the neck and often the jaw as well. So I want you to start just kind of standing or sitting, whatever feels a little bit better. And we're gonna bring our fingers right about to where the Y logo would be if it's sitting across your chest on your shirt. And I want you to just gently feel in here. You may or may not feel some tension. You may or may not feel the ribs that sit across this space. So, you know, regardless of what you feel, just kind of make some contact with that space and see how it feels. How tender does it feel? How spacious or loose does it feel? And then let's come right down to maybe where the top of the Y logo would be. And using some gentle pressure, so tolerable pressure, we don't want to dig in, but we do want to unstick some of the stickiness of the tissue through this space. So find tolerable pressure, and we're just going to start to slide our fingers up towards your collarbone. And we're gonna take this a couple times. So finding the pressure that feels good as you let your other arm feel relaxed, as you let your shoulder feel relaxed. And we're gonna do this kind of towards the inside and travel towards the outside. So just taking a few times, exploring this space, noticing where does it feel super tender, and just sliding up towards your collarbone. And this is something that you can do, you know, when you're sitting at your desk, just as a little break even. It can be super helpful. Let's take that even more just towards the armpit. And just with your fingers, manipulating the tissue and the muscle in that space. One more here, just along the side. And then go ahead and let your arms relax, noticing how your chest feels from side to side. Maybe even noticing if one shoulder is now a little lower than the other shoulder. And staying with that same side now, we're gonna bring your hands, just kind of tracing the line of your thumb to where it starts at your wrist. And you'll feel kind of the bone on this outside of the hand, so the thumb side of the hand. And I want you just to find kind of that line of the thumb here at your wrist and find that tolerable pressure again, because with that pressure, we're just gonna travel, tracing that line up your forearm all the way to your elbow. And using some pressure, because again, we wanna massage the tissue in that space. You'll notice it gets a little sticky as we travel up towards the elbow. So let's do that a couple times here. Again, finding that line of the thumb. And unsticking almost what may feel like it's adhered or stuck together through the forearm. And this we're doing for the shoulder. Even if it's far away from the shoulder, what we're doing here is gonna impact how it feels up here. One more time. Finding that line and just tracing it up, noticing how it may feel a little tender. So always, always just find the pressure that feels tolerable and supportive. And then go ahead and let your arm go. Again, notice how it feels from side to side. So now, before we move over to the other side, we're going to take our thumbs to the back of our skull. So I'll turn around so you can kind of see. We're finding the little bony ridge that starts from the back of your ears and then just traces all the way up the base of the skull. So where your skull kind of meets your spine. So let's start right about here, behind the ears. You can feel that little bony ridge. And again, find some tolerable pressure here. And we're just gonna slide our thumbs up that bony ridge until they meet together at the center. And we'll take that a couple times, and using that feeling, that tolerable pressure, to almost slide that tissue. So we want to feel like we are unsticking some of what might feel like it's gotten stuck together. One more. And then go ahead and let your arms relax at your sides and just notice how you're feeling. This can really let you feel more chilled out because it releases a lot of what we hold up here. So just kind of making an observation about how you feel even before we take this to the other side. And then let's take this to the other side. So let's start with where that Y logo might be on the other side. And just with your fingers, kind of check out that pec muscle, check out the tissue up towards your collarbone, noticing if it feels really tender or really tight, or if it feels really available. And so let's start at that space. Again, we're gonna start towards the inside and work our way out. But just kind of sliding your fingers up, using the pressure that feels supportive. So we wanna use some pressure so that we can really kind of unstick some of that. And just noticing how it feels. It feels pretty sticky for me as I get up towards the collarbone. And then taking that down a notch towards the armpit, and the same thing. Now it's gonna feel different from side to side because we use the sides of our body differently. One side is a dominant side. Usually we carry all of our stuff on one side. Usually we're mousing or typing or holding our phone with one side. So as you kind of just travel out towards your armpit, noticing how it feels. And then taking that right about here. And just unsticking your way up towards that collarbone. And then just letting your arms relax and feeling how your chest feels. This is a lovely way to open up this space even before you work out, so that anything you do with your arms is not feeling super grippy through your chest and your pec muscles. So now again, let's find that line of the thumb, and we're going to just trace that line up the forearm. And again, using that pressure that feels tolerable, that feels supportive as you travel, and noticing how it feels compared to the other side. Two more here, finding that same space and just kind of traveling up, unsticking. Last one. And let your arms relax. Again, just kind of noticing how it feels. So we've already done the back of the skull, so now we're gonna do something for the jaw. So with your thumbs, I want you to find that space that's right underneath your jawline. And just with your thumbs, I want you to gently press in and then travel out, press in, travel out, press in. And you'll notice that the further you go back into your jaw here, and notice that I am putting in some pressure, you'll feel how tight it gets up here, which is tied into the entire space we've been working with. So let's just start on one side. And with your thumb underneath that line of your jaw, just start to travel, and whenever you feel a spot that feels pretty sticky, I want you just to gently press in with your thumb and hold. Take a few deep breaths. Slide to the next spot out towards your ear and hold. Taking it out again and hold. Finding the pressure that feels tolerable. So if you can gently press in a little bit more in a way that feels okay, definitely take that. One more, sliding out towards the end of your jaw, holding, take a couple breaths. And then relax. Just feel how free and easy it feels on that side, how light your head feels on that side. And let's take that to the other side. So again, just starting kind of at the center, sliding your thumb, and notice I am putting in some pressure here. And finding the first spot that starts to feel a little tender. And you'll notice that again, just because we are dominant on one side, it's going to feel tighter on one side than the other. So just meet each side where it's at. And finding that spot and just holding. Take a few deep breaths. Take it towards your ear, up your jaw, another spot, and hold. And again, up and back, holding, apply the pressure that feels okay. And just breathe. Last one. And relax. And just kind of move it around, see how it feels. This especially feels so nice because we can carry, especially if you're someone who clenches their jaw a lot, it can feel really loose. And even if you open and close your mouth a little bit, noticing how that feels compared to maybe how it normally feels. That's something that we could have done at the beginning just to see how it felt before. And just let this support you. Let it be a nice break in your day if you're someone that's sitting or just feeling a little stressed out today, or before you start a movement practice, so that this space feels super available to move within, so that you're using more of the muscles you want to use and less feeling super grippy with rounded shoulders forward and super tight pecs and chest. So just check out how you feel and use this in a way that's good for you. And I'll see you back here next time on the Wise Recharge with Us from Home series. Take care.